my FABE, welcome to MaiMoments, the best channel for makeup and hair tutorial and also products review. Today I'm going to switch it up and do something fun. And here it is. I always see these little guys everywhere, especially during the holiday. And this costs like $30 to $100. And yes, it's pretty expensive. So I'm going to show you in detail how I did this just $5. So let's get started. So the first products that you are going to need is a bare styrofoam, and I bought it from AliExpress. This is 16 by 20 centimeters. Then you are going to need 150 pieces of fake flour. This is 3 centimeters. It's really depend on what colors you like. Then you would need a hot glue, then a glue stick. This is really convenient because it lasts longer. So the first place that I'm going to glue is on the nose because it's a center of attention, and also that could be my guide. So I'm going to place it one right there, and I'm going to place more flowers on the side. As you can see, I decided to place one right there. So another one on the left side, I decided just to go around with a bunch of flower on the side like this, so it could be a great outline. You are not able to see clearly in the process, but what you are trying to do is creating the nose, and there is 6 fake flowers all around. Since I used the bare nose as a base, I'm going to place flowers all around it, and as you can see, whenever I'm placing flowers on the side, it's actually facing on the side a little bit to have that second layer so you can see the face of the bear forming. And you have to go all the way inside like this, but be careful because it's really hot. So every little detail and crack is important when it's come to DIY. So I'm going to place a fake flower, especially under the nose of the bear, so I can be able to fill in all those empty space. Just be careful whenever you are placing fake flowers on the area that is hard to see because you could able to burn yourself, and it is pretty hot. After the second layer, I'm going to move to the third layer, and once again I'm starting on the top of the bear face because it's much easier to see, and placing flower in between those gaps as you can see here. What I like to do is actually pressing the flower petal up a little bit, so placing a flowers in between is going to close the gap and it's going to make it more professional so none of the styrofoam show. Applying the same method, I'm just going around with flowers on the outer rings, creating the third layer. This is really fun and easy to do, and is your own DIY, so it makes more special to give it to someone that you love or cherish. A great tip to take away, because apparently I applied the wrong method. Instead of just applying the hot glue right on the styrofoam, sometimes you can definitely burn it. Also, it will leave a strings whenever you are trying to take out the hot glue. Similar to this image right here, can you see the string that is stretching? That will not be sticking on, and you have to peel those off. So eventually it is really time consuming and annoying. So what I would recommend for you to do is actually placing the hot glue on the back of the fake flower and placing where you need it to be. I'm going to add the last piece of fake rose on the side of the face to finish off that part, and moving on to the ear. So I'm going to add flowers right on top of the side of the ears, and placement of the flower is so critical in this stage in order to make a perfect ear shape, and so just copy me at this point. To create a perfect ears, I do have to use the method of overlapping other flower just a little bit and apply it on the area that I think that is going to create a perfect shape. I want to apologize for the angle of the camera. It is really hard to see at this point because I'm basically working on the edge. And by the way, between the ears, I only need 1 fake flowers to cover up the gaps. On the back of the ear is also very critical. It's because it will show on the front, as you can see in this part right here. So whenever I'm placing the flowers, I just want to make sure it's going to have a nice curve of the bare ear. While the process that the glue is setting, use your hand to shape how you want the flower to lay. From this point, I finally applied the best method to make this process even faster is to apply the hot glue right on the back of the fake flower and place it on the styrofoam. Because what I did in the beginning is to apply the hot glue right on the styrofoam, then placing a fake flowers on there. At the same time, while I'm working on the other side of the ear, I'm also working at the back to close the empty gap since it was convenient. And then moving back to the ear part, I'm going to arrange fake flowers on the place that it makes sense, and it will help to create a perfect ear shapes. What I recommend you to do whenever you are working on the ears, every single time whenever you are placing fake flowers, make sure you are going to see what it looked like on the front. My focus was to work in the front of the bear first, and in the back, if there's not enough left over, I can definitely hide it because I was not sure if 150 pieces is enough. But then whenever I got to the back part of the ear, I just decided to add more fake flowers on the back of the ear to finish off, and it's going to be much easier to handle in the front because it's going to lay flat. So I'm going to add flowers right on the bear's hands and also their toes. Make sure every single time that you adding hot glue, you have to press the flower in order for it to stay. Be careful not to rip the fake flower first of all, but have enough pressure for the flower to stay. Very similar to the nose method from earlier, placing the flowers all around the base. I used 5 fake roses to complete this look all around, and it looks so cute at the end. It looked very similar to like a pom-pom. I probably burned my fingers several times using the hot glue, especially placing fake flowers on the edge or on the place that is hard to see and I did not pay attention. So just be careful, and I'm pretty sure you were able to avoid this mistake. At this point, do the same thing of applying fake flower to the other hands and place 5 flowers to equal the other amount so it can be even and perfect. Now starting on the leg, I'm going to place flowers all around, but notice that I am actually applying flowers starting on the side of the legs, and I'm not going to apply any flowers on the bottoms because it will help the bear to stabilize when there is a flat surface. For the leg part, I only need 4 fake flowers to go around, and it looked just perfect. And repeat the same method to the other side, just in case if you ever accidentally place one of the rose flowers and you do not like how it formed, just wait for it to dry completely. Then it's much easier to take it out, that piece, and placing on a new one. Now I'm going to work on the front of the bear body, right under the neck. I'm going to place 1, and also on the middle part, I'm going to add 2 of the flower to close the gap. Lastly, I'm going to add 2 more fake flower vertically so it can complete the bottom. So here is the patterns of 1, 2, 1, 1. Let's continue and work on the back of the bear. Since this is my first time working on this DIY, I was not sure if 150 pieces of fake flowers was enough to cover up the whole bear. But just letting you know, it did with the perfect size of this bear. So just be aware, if you decide to buy a bigger size of bear, you have to use more flour than this. So here is how you're able to fill in the side. I'm just placing 2 flowers on the arms and another one right beneath the hips to create those perfect curves, and apply the same amount to the other side as 2 in the arms and 1 on the hip. For the side of the legs, you definitely need 2 more. So I'm going to add 2 more fake flowers to close the gaps. With all the difficult part handled, now we can definitely finish off to the finish line. Notice that in order to create a really nice pattern, is that every single time if there's a gap between the rows, I'm going to place one rose right underneath that part and it will close any kind of gap. I have seen this rose bear all around Instagrams and especially on holiday, and it's pretty pricey to get one of them, so I just decided to make this tutorial for those of you that need a budget friendly but still creating a very magical and special gift for someone that you love. Let's shake that tail feather, so I'm going to place one of the rose right on the bear tail, and this is going to be the base. And placing the rose all around the base, similar to how we form the nose and also the hands and toes. And we only need 4 flowers to complete this little tail. At a certain point, check your rows to see how many of them are left and if you're able to complete the whole bear. So what I would do from that point is to have a little bit spacing between the gaps, so you will use less rows. And I'm going to spread out the petal to even be bigger to close any kind of gaps that I cannot fulfill. And that method will work rather than just missing one whole chunk piece that you cannot able to fulfill. If you are not happy and need some adjustment after the fact that you put the flowers on the place that you don't like, don't take it out right then and there. Wait until it's completely dry. It's much easier. If you decide to take it out right then and there when the glue is still trying to settle, you have the chance to ripping the rose petals, and we cannot afford to actually ripping any one of them. At this point in time, I'm just trying to fill in any empty gap and trying to make it look proportional. Also check for any loose rows, because if it did not stick well, it's going to fall apart. So what I would do is running my fingers through to see if there's any one that is not sticking that I need to add more glue on it. Use any kind of ribbon that you have on hand, but if you decide to go out and buy a ribbon, I do recommend you to buy the ribbon that have a very similar patterns on both sides and you can see it clearly, rather than having a dominance of the front and also the back. I really enjoy this kind of ribbon here because you cannot see which one is the front and which one is the back. You would think it's one piece. After you have formed a perfect bow, adding some hot glue right behind the knot. This is going to help it stay in place whenever you are placing under the neck area of the bear, and it's going to add a little accessory that is super cute and to complete this look. Lastly, cut off the excess ribbon that you don't need and bam, you are done. Sometime a gift, you cannot put a price tag on it if you do it yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video. There's another 2 videos waiting for you to click. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell for more notifications, and be part of the family. And as always, love yourself, stay motivated, peace out.